If you went over someone's house and saw they had milk in their pantry, you would say, "Gosh, that's bizarre. You put milk in your fridge, it obviously spoils in the pantry." Just like cash spoils in your Roth IRA, put more of your slower growing assets like cash and bonds in your pre-tax IRA and put your growth assets like stocks in your Roth IRA. At Brandywine Oak, we like to say it's not the return that we make that counts. It's only how much of that return we get to keep after taxes that really matters in the end. Our industry focuses a lot on investment selection, but often overlooks asset location, which is the intentional placement of where you own certain types of asset classes to minimize the tax drag over time. Now, in plain English, this just means more after-tax wealth in your pocket. So let's jump in. Now, you might think, gosh, this is pretty obvious, but when we are introduced to a new family, we often see the same cookie-cutter, moderate-risk investment models across all of their accounts, whether it's an after-tax brokerage account, a pre-tax IRA, or a tax-free Roth IRA. Now, so what's the issue? The issue is this approach entirely overlooks the tax efficiency of where certain asset classes are held. To illustrate this concept, let's meet Johnny and Susie. Both have a moderate risk portfolio of 50-50 stocks and bonds, and they both have the same $4 million when they retire, but they work with very different advisors. Johnny works with an old school investment advisor for a big Wall Street firm whose primary focus is, you guessed it, investments. His advisor blindly splits the 50-50 mix of stocks and bonds evenly across all of Johnny's accounts. He has basically $1 million in an after-tax brokerage account, $2 million in a pre-tax IRA, and $1 million in a Roth IRA. If we use the historical return of stocks of 10% per year and bonds at 5% per year, over 20 years, Johnny ends up with $13.8 million of spendable wealth. Susie, on the other hand, she works with a financial planner and a tax advisor who carefully considers asset location. Here's what her advisor does. Stocks, which are growth assets, of course, will go into her Roth IRA. All growth and appreciation on the Roth is tax-free. Stocks are also placed in her after-tax brokerage account because capital gains and dividends on stocks in taxable accounts are taxed at preferential rates and are extremely tax efficient. Bonds, which are slower growing assets, will go into her pre-tax IRA, since any growth in her IRA is shared with the government and taxed at the highest rates on the way out, ordinary income tax rates. By making this simple shift and using the same return assumptions over time, Susie ends up with $16.1 million in spendable wealth, $2.3 million more than Johnny. You might be thinking, wow, this is a complete and utter no-brainer. And it is. The best part is Susie took on zero additional risk and zero additional fees, but took the time to make tax-smart decisions around asset location. Now, naturally, as a retiree, your ongoing cash flow needs are always most important, and often it can make sense to own tax-free bonds in your after-tax brokerage account. This is just an example with Johnny and Susie to simply illustrate the concept. At Brandywine Oak, we focus on our clients' after-tax returns and aim to carefully align the right asset classes within the right tax buckets. To learn more about how we can help, scan the QR code to get started.